What's up, Panda Parade? Kurraku0 here, bringing you a new VR chat tutorial. If you missed the last video on getting your Vroid model to work correctly, make sure you check out that tutorial as well if you're interested in uploading your own OC to VR chat. Today's video will be the first in my start to finish series on VR chat Udon world building. A little self-plug here, I've made a VR chat world called the Panda Den that we'll be doing a roleplay in. If you're interested in getting in on that, join my Discord for more information. The link is in the description below. I also stream on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Kurraku0. Drop me a follow over there. I stream on Saturday and Sundays, and I like to chat with viewers, and it's a fun time for everyone. Today, we'll be going over the basics of world building and getting your model created in Blender. I know what you're thinking, Kurraku, why are we building in Blender when we can just make it in Unity? Well, I'm glad you asked. The reason why we're using Blender is that it gives you more freedom on what you're making. Sure, what we make in today's tutorial could be made in Unity because it's going to be a super simple world, but if you start out making in Blender, you'll have way more customization options than just building in Unity. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, now heading into Blender, if you don't have the latest version of Blender, you can download it in the description below. There will be a link for it there to download. I'm using version 2.92, and when you first open it up, you'll see a camera and a light source and a cube. So if you go over here to your scene collection and click on the camera, and you hold down Control and click on the light, we can just go ahead and press the delete button, because we don't need those there. And now you're left with this cube, so some basic Blender controls. To pan left and right, you hold down the middle mouse button. To pan up and down, you do the same thing, hold down middle mouse button and just move your mouse up and down. To be able to move around, you'll hold down shift and middle mouse button, and that'll move you from left to right or up and down as you need it. So let's go ahead and select our cube here. And what I like to do, you'll press N and bring up the transform menu, and I'm going to work with the dimensions here. That will give you actual dimensions like you would use in real life, and it's set to meters, so this is 2 cubic meters here. It's 2 by 2 by 2, and what this is going to be, we're going to use this for our foundation, so it's going to be the floor. So we're going to say this is going to be a basic like 2-room house or 2-room apartment, whatever you want to call it. It's only going to have 2 rooms, and we're going to set the dimensions here. So we're going to say it's going to be a 10 by 20. And we theoretically could have used a plane, but when you use planes, you kind of have to set your normals. And we don't want to worry about with any of that, so we're just going to take this Z and we're going to place it at 0. So there, your cube here is now sitting flat on the ground. And it's not much of a cube anymore, but it's still a cube. Now what you're going to want to do is bring in some walls. So you're going to hold down Shift and press A, and that's going to bring up this menu. And you want to go to Mesh and go to Cube. And that brings another cube. One thing to note, that your cube is right here in the center, so it's directly at 0, 0, 0, if you note the location here. And that's going to help us because we know that this here is 10 by 20, so we can use those dimensions to make our walls. So the X will set to 10. Z will say that they're going to be 3-meter high walls. And if we notice this here, you come to this problem. So it cuts it in half because when you change the dimensions in Blender, it puts half of it to the top and half of it to the bottom. So you're going to have some in the positive axis and some in the negative. So to remedy that, we're just going to go to our location here, and half of 3 is 1.5. And boom, that's going to set it right there. Now, we want to change our Y value, because a 2-meter thick wall is pretty thick. I'm going to set mine, what I like to do for my wall thickness is 0.117. And there you have it, we have a wall. And now what we're going to do is we're going to change the location here. So we know that it is 10 by 20. So on this y-axis here, it's 20, and 10 of it is in the positive, and 10 of it is in the negative. So what we'll do for the location, and by the way, if you ever forget what axis you're on, you can look up here, because this is your local axis that you're looking at. The Y is green, and the green line is going this way. Red is the X, so you see that's going this way. So we're going to change our Y value to 10, because that's half of 20, and you see it puts it right there for us. Now you could do the same exact thing and bring in another wall, or you can just duplicate this wall. So what you'll do is hold down shift and press D, and boom, you have an exact duplicate here. I'm actually going to delete that because you're actually going to have to click when you duplicate it to place it where you want it. And since we want this at the same position, we're just going to hit Control D and click, and that puts it right here for us. Theoretically, you can do it from anywhere, but we want it to make this pretty simple. So now, your Y, instead of being 10, we're going to make this negative 10, and boom, there it is on the opposite side for us. And now you're going to want the other walls here. So what you're going to do, again, hit Shift A, bring in another cube, and we'll do the same thing again. So instead of setting the X, we'll point the X to 0.117, and that'll give us the thinness here. We'll set this to 20, and then we'll set this to 3. And again, change the location. You want to bring this up 1.5 since our Z is 3, and that puts it right back on the plane here. And now the location, since this is only 10, we want to set this to 5 and negative 5. And if you ever forget, you can always click on it and see what you set it to, but these are 1 by 1 cubes on the grid here. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and see that it is 5 this way and 5 this way going from the line. So we're going to set this at 5, and we're going to duplicate it, Shift D, and set the next one to negative 5. And there you have it. That is our basic room setup. Now, I don't like to do the walls in between. I like to build them in Unity, because sometimes we're going to want a door to go right here, and we don't know how big our door is because we're going to import that door asset into Unity. What I like to do is I like to import my door and build the walls around the door. Now this is good right here for a basic world, but it's going to have a skybox on top of it. So you're going to see this is going to be all open, and if that's what you want, that's totally fine. But if not, what we're going to do here is we're going to put a roof on it. So we're going to do Shift D to duplicate that, and now we're just going to take our floor and put it up to the height of the top. So our walls are 3 meters high, so we'll set that to 3 meters, and boom, there you have it. We have a room that is totally closed in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save right here. And we're going to call this our test world, and save the file. Alright, so now it's saved. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to texture it to make sure the textures look like, and we're going to get into UV mapping, which is why we put the textures on in Blender, so we can make sure everything's mapped out properly. So let's go ahead and show you where to get some free textures. Alright, so for some free textures, we're going to go to ambientcg.com. The link will be in the description of this video, and you'll pull it up and it'll come to this page. So you're going to explore all 1,318 assets, and as you see, these are all the textures here. So let's say we want this for our floor. So we're just going to download this. Let's see what else we're gonna want here. Maybe have some tiles for the ceiling. That's something that looks cool. So maybe have this on the ceiling. So we have that downloaded. And then something for the walls. Let's say that this is gonna be like this. And we're gonna go ahead and get some brick textures and have brick walls. I think that would look cool. Alright, once you have your textures downloaded back here into Blender, it's time to do the textures. So we're gonna go up to this top menu here and click on shading. And that brings us the shading. So what we're gonna do is we're going to click on this right here. And for slot 1, we're going to have the material. I just changed roof. And once you have them extracted, you'll see that there are a bunch of different files in there, but I'm going to show you how to use them. So in your textures menu down here, you're going to hit Shift A, just like you did at the top. And you're going to go down to texture and import image texture. I'm just going to put that here. You'll click open. Go to where you downloaded your textures, and this is the roof. And we're going to grab the color and open that. And then we're going to take this color here and move it over here to where it says base color. Let me see if I can zoom in for you guys here. So you're just going to click this and drag the line over to here. Alright, next thing that we're going to do is we need our roughness. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this color, hold down Shift D, duplicate it, open this back up, and get our roughness. Then we're going to do the exact same thing here. You see roughness is here. I'm going to drag this over to roughness. That's going to change the roughness. And one more thing you're going to need is your normal. So you're going to hold, click your roughness, Shift D, bring this down, and then you're going to go Shift A, and in the search box right here, you're just going to search for normal map. Now click that and you'll have your normal map here. Now what you're going to do with this is you're going to connect this to normal. Over here where you duplicated your color, you're going to grab the normal here. And then you're going to drag this to this color. And boom, that has been texturized. Now it doesn't look as good because we haven't UV mapped it yet. So that's like super big, but that's what it looks like so far. And now we're going to click on the walls here. And we're going to do a new material. And we're going to call it wall. You notice it automatically puts this box in here for us. So we're going to do the same thing here. Shift A, get our texture, image texture. I'm going to hit open. And we wanted the bricks on the wall. So grab that color there. Put the color to base color. I'm going to Shift D to duplicate it. Hit the little folder. This is going to be our roughness. So connect to roughness here. We're going to duplicate this again and Shift A and search for our normal map. Alright, and like I said before, you just connect normal to normal. Hit the folder here, open up the normal for your bricks, and connect that to the color. And voila, you have brick texture. And for these, it's going to be a lot easier because these are all walls. So you'll just click this and you'll hit walls. And that puts the texture on each one of them. Walls. And for our floor that we wanted, since we can't see inside of this here, what we're going to do is we're going to click the top, and that's going to bring us, it shows us that this is the top, so we're going to hide this in view. And the floor is what we started with, so it'll be the first one in our collection. And now that we have that selected, we don't want it to be the roof. It's going to be a new material, so we'll click on that and name it floor. Alright, and what we're going to do here is the exact same thing. I'm going to hit Shift A, go to Texture, Image Texture, click to place that, hit the little folder to open. We're going to go to our downloads, that's where I saved mine, wood floor, grab the color, open, and so you guys can see, drag color to base color, that's the floor in there. Okay, I'm going to click on this, Shift D, duplicates it, put it here. We're going to click on this folder here. We're going to grab the roughness and move this dot to the roughness dot. Boom. And then click on this and duplicate it again. And Shift A. Make sure you, when you're wanting to search for something, you click over into this. Shift A, and search, normal map. Grab that. Connect our normal. Over here, we're going to hit the folder, and we're going to grab the normal here, and drag this down to color. And there's our normal map for our wood floor. Okay, looks pretty good, huh? Alright, not looking the best, but now is where we do our UV editing. So let's go back over here and unhide the top here, and we have our full cube. I'm going to go ahead and save it, and we'll get into our UV editing. Alright, so now we want to make these textures look nice on our object that we just created here. And we do that by UV editing. So go up to the top here and click on UV editing. And that brings us to the UV editor. Now you see we can't see the textures over here. Don't worry, to fix that, we go up to the top and we click on this shader here. So now we can see the shading. And we're currently in edit mode. We can't really see the bottom like we want to see it. So we're going to start with the top. So to select something other than the object that you have, it starts you off in edit mode. So you're going to want to press tab to go to object mode. Select the object that you want to edit. Press tab to go back into edit mode. And that brings up the UV map for this over here. So what we're going to want to do, I'm going to go into face select mode, and we're going to hold down shift and select all of our faces here. And then we're going to go to scale. And then when scaling it, and just make it to where it looks nice on your object. That looks about right. And make it a little bit wider. About right there. There we go. So now we have that on there. To get to the next object, you'll hit tab, go back into object mode when you're over here on this screen. we're going to select our next object, which is going to be this wall right here. We're going to go to Tab to go back into edit mode. So what we're going to do, like I said, go back over here, Shift to select all the faces. And we're just going to this look right. Then we're going to rotate it because I believe bricks have the wrong rotation on them. Looks about right. Then we're going to go back to our scale and just keep doing this until it looks right. There we go. Now our brick wall looks like a brick wall. You can edit this a little more if you'd like. Whether you want your bricks bigger or smaller, depending on the wall. And then just do that for each side. So go back over to this screen and we'll hit Tab to go into object mode. We'll select this brick wall. Press Tab again to go back into edit mode. We're going to go ahead and select all of our faces over here. We're going to go ahead and rotate this around because we got the right rotation. Right, and now we're going to get scale. And we're going to scale this until it looks right. If you want, you can make sure that it's going to line up with other bricks over here. So it looks like I've made this one a little too small. So about right there, and that lines up just about. Not quite. Looks to be about as good as we're going to get it here. This is just a tutorial, so I'm not too worried about getting it perfect. Press Tab, select the next object. Now we have our bricks. Now to get to the floor, go back over here, press Tab, go into object mode, select our roof down here, and just like we did, we're going to hide the roof. We're going to select our floor, press Tab to go into edit mode, and we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to select all of our faces. And we're gonna make our floor look like a floor. Yeah, zoom in on that. There we go. Yeah, it looks like a nice hardwood floor. Get a bit bigger. About right there. That looks good for our hardwood floor. Alright, perfect. Now we're gonna go back over here. Select our cube and unhide it. Put our roof back on. And there we have it. We have the structure made for our building. So now what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna save it again. I like to save quite often. Because you never know what's going to happen. Now, we need to export it. So the files that you export into Unity are going to be OBX files. So we're going to go up here and hit File. We're going to go to Export. And we're going to export as in FBX. I said OBJ, but I meant FBX. testworld.fbx. And we're going to hit Export FBX. And that exports our FBX. And now we're ready to throw this new model we just created into Unity. If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content in the future. Hit that bell notification to let you know when I upload the next video in this series. because in the next video, we're going to go over importing this bad boy into Unity and making sure we have our Unity set up correctly. So I've been Kurraku0, and thanks for watching. Bye!